Good morning, everyone, and welcome to my podcast. My name is Lynette. Today we're going to talk about not your fault. And by that I'm referring to when you do everything that you can do and people still come across as if they don't like you. It's usually something in you that they see that either reminds them of themselves regarding something they don't like within themselves, or it's something in you that they envy, that they wish they had. It can be very minor, but it's interesting how that plays a role in relationships. And I know in life, most of us prefer to be at peace with fellow human beings, but sometimes you just can't, because if they have that in them, that envy, that jealousy, that they admire you actually in the wrong way, take it as a compliment, because it's not an insult. You know that old saying, we can please some of the people all the time and all the people some of the time, but we can't please all the people all of the time. That is so true. I'm going to share with you a little story. I might have shared it in an earlier episode, but it really does pertain to this situation. And that is, I have a friend. She is struggling to try to make ends meet. She's single, owns her own home, and she works very hard to keep that home up. And there was someone, a coworker where she worked, that didn't like her and finally confessed that the reason they didn't like her was because they admired her, that she can run her home. I guess this person was having difficulty with everything it takes to manage a home. And it's interesting. It's like, so should you compromise yourself to please other people? No, absolutely not. And it's sad that we get this from others, but there's nothing we can do about it. There's nothing that we did. But then again, those same people aren't going to be the people that support you. So you really don't even need them in your life. As we've talked about before, you want positive people. You want people that are going to support what you do. And if there's someone there that's envious, their hope and wish for you is to be knocked down. And sadly, we can't have people in our life who don't support what we're working on, what we're trying to accomplish. But with that being said, no matter where somebody else is coming from, and if they sadly are envious of you, regardless of their situations, their problems, because we strive for peace within ourselves, if possible, extend courtesy to everyone. It doesn't mean you have to invite them to lunch or be their best friend, but in striving to have peace and being the better person and having positivity in your life, that means showing kindness. And in showing kindness, you need to extend the same courtesy to everyone. And if you don't get it back, you learn who to extend it to or who to kind of keep at arm's length. What's really interesting in all this, though, is that the people that you think you're going to get kudos from or a pat on the back when you accomplish something usually is not the person that you think it's going to be. I myself, I know when I've accomplished a little something here or there, the people who went out of their way to contact me and give me thumbs up or good job, I would have never dreamed in a million years it would come from them. But the ones that I think would be the first to say it, to stand in line, to support you, usually aren't. In fact, if you listen to talk shows, it's really interesting because a lot of celebrities say the people closest to them don't even watch what they do, don't even acknowledge their entertainment talents. And so you never know who's going to be there for you. So you want to give everybody that chance, that loving chance, by being kind and extending courtesy to each and every one. But then as people show you who they are, you tend to learn who is on your side, basically, and who you should keep at arm's length. It doesn't mean you shun them. It doesn't mean that you don't like them. It just means that you allow the people that are more like and kind with you to be your closest, to be your allies, to be there with you, to be supportive. The ones that are going to be happy and excited when good things happen for you, and the same is extended back to them when good things happen to them. We show them we're excited, that we're happy, that we're there for them. Because really and truly, I don't think in the big scheme of things people are braggers. I think they say things because they're so hungry for somebody to agree with them, to give them a pat on the back. And sometimes people withdraw that pat on the back because they don't want you to succeed like you are succeeding. So I think when people talk maybe too much about what they've accomplished, is they're just simply trying to get someone to acknowledge what they've done. What's really funny and really interesting is that you never know what you're going to do that's going to be pleasing to people. I know myself, if I've done something or made something, I'm sometimes shocked at how favorable it was to so many. And then there's other times that I think, oh, I'm not going to do this because I don't think anyone would appreciate it or like it, and then you do it reluctantly. And bam, it turns out to be what everybody's been wanting. So you just never know. So in life, you navigate. You be kind to others. You be your best self. You do what you feel is good and accomplished within yourself. It doesn't matter what other people think. But in the big scheme of things, if you're going after a job or career, it matters. Of course it matters. But in the big scheme of things, you do your best. That's all you can do. And if it doesn't resonate with one person, it will resonate with another. Just keep being you, because you really can't be anything or anyone but yourself. And when you feel like you've reached your high goal, that you've accomplished where you want to be, then you reach a little bit higher. The goal is to always strive to be higher and higher and higher, and better and better and better. Truthfully, we never really reach our destinations so long as we're alive. There's always higher that we can go. And the one person that you can count on to be there to support you is you. At the same time, we need to be protective of ourselves. And we get a sense of what doesn't resonate with us, what makes us feel at a lower level, at a lower mood. For example, I started hearing politics a lot on the news again. And I kind of opened myself up to it. And I found myself getting in a funky mood. So I have no control over the politics. I find it frustrating because it's that thing where you wouldn't do certain things a certain way, but you can't do anything about what is being done. So all you can do is turn from embracing that. Turn to something that does make you happy. If you can, limit the things that put you in a place where you wouldn't want to be, where you're not your best self, where you're not living your best life. You always want to be stepping toward living your best life. That should be your all-out goal. And part of that goal, a big part, is being a kind person, working on what you want to do, what you want to be, bettering yourself physically, mentally, emotionally, and you're working towards your career goals. All these things will make you happy. The things that you don't have control of, you might as well turn from them, because all they're going to do is frustrate you. And frustration brings depression. So you want to turn from the things that frustrate you and turn toward the things that you have control of. And when you're working on something to improve yourself, it's a great feeling of accomplishment, especially when you're done. I know sometimes when I would go to the gym, it was practically kicking and fighting. But then when I would finish, I would get in my car with a big smile and then treat myself to a coffee. And by the way, don't ever hold back from rewarding yourself when you do make strides, when you do make accomplishments. Another thing that I've decided to do, and this just came to me a couple days ago, is that when I'm praying for something, when there's something that really bothers me, and I'm going to use a hypothetical here, say my neighbor was really irritating me. Instead of praying, please don't let this person irritate me anymore, please don't let them come over and do this or that, instead I'm going to approach it from the top down, from the outside in, and be grateful for the things that that person does that has made me happy. And in doing so, I'm going to pray that there's more of the good things that happen, that expand out, that multiply, till pretty soon the good outweighs the bad. And that should be our goal, that the good outweighs the bad. So in other words, it's almost difficult to explain. I can visualize it in my head. The only way I can say it is praying from the outside in, approaching it from all the good that is in that situation, instead of lifting up the bad and praying about the bad that you don't want. Instead, pray and be grateful for the good and pray that the good part of the situation multiplies. And if we keep doing that with everything, I think the good will definitely outweigh the bad. But nevertheless, it all starts with you and your health and happiness. It was real interesting the other day. Somebody was talking to me about what's really important in life, and without even thinking about the name of this podcast, I said, what I'd like for myself and for my family is health and happiness. I said, oh my gosh, that's the name of my podcast. I forgot. I guess it's no mistake that that name came to me when I was selecting the title for this podcast, is because, think about it, we all want health and we all want happiness, and we all want that for ourselves, for the people we love, and so on and so on and so on until it goes out into the entire universe. So I'm going to leave you with that, and I will talk to you next week. Thank you for listening. Bye-bye.